The cult of personality.
Greetings, every peoples. This is your cult of personality speaking Toon Critic's name, and Toon's the name of my... Wow. The black bars are finally gone. I fixed the aspect ratio. It only took me, like, what, months to do? Yeah, I'm filming this on a different thingy. So yeah, Toon Critic here to give our proper thoughts on for 2016. I'm gonna start this off with a question. Who is Don Bluth? And it's going to be really sad because not a lot of people know who Don Bluth is today. If you look at our current generation growing up, they have no idea who Don Bluth is. Well, for those that don't know, Don Bluth is the dude behind All Dogs Go to Heaven, An American Tail, Secret of Nim, movies you probably should show your kids, but then realize, God, this is really dark. I don't know if this is the best idea. But given his recent crowdfunding thing on Dragon's Air, which got funded, awesome, really looking forward to seeing how that's gonna go. I pledged to it, of course. I mean, why wouldn't I? Toon Critic, you know, supporting Toons, kind of my thing. I'm here to talk today about one of his most notable films. And given that dinosaurs are all the rage right now with Jurassic World and The Good Dinosaur, I figure it's only appropriate for me to finally sit down and talk about The Land Before Time. Now, for those that don't know what The Land Before Time is, this was made way back in the day. It focuses on, well, when the dinosaurs were still around, and how the plates shifted and did all that weird stuff where it's just like, oh no, the continents are forming, oh no, dinosaurs are getting separated. It's a big journey. Kind of like Homeward Bound, except... no, actually, the same feels amount. Like, they're basically on the same level when it comes to the feels. 5 characters. 5 main characters. Littlefoot, Sarah, Ducky, Spike, Peach. Okay, good, I remember them all. I haven't seen this movie in a while, but I do remember it. I remember watching it a lot. These characters are different species, and it's up to them, once they're all separated, to come together and go on an epic quest across the land to find the Great Valley, which is Utopia, the safe haven of sorts. And together they must travel through all these dangerous lands and all these obstacles they must overcome. You know, you probably saw that. You probably looked at The Good Dinosaur just like, oh, so this is The Land Before Time. Well, kind of. Only Land Before Time is a little bit darker. Where do I exactly begin, though, with this? The characters' internal struggles. How Littlefoot and Sarah, who's a long neck, and a Triceratops, are not supposed to be friends. They put up this subtext of discrimination and almost segregation, if you think about it, early on in the movie. And you see that they're not getting along. They have very conflicting ideals and personalities. And it gets to the point where they fight pretty bad. And some stuff goes down. But I'm not gonna dive too much into that because I want people to actually watch Land Before Time without me telling the entire plot. Yeah, I know, I probably should have said that. But regardless, Land Before Time with the characters. This is probably the best part. Seeing how all these characters interact with their different personalities and ideals, and how they eventually have to work together. You have Littlefoot being the leader, who's not quite sure if he wants to be the leader given traumatic experience what happened in the process of him getting separated. Not gonna say what, but people should know it's one of the saddest moments in cartoon history. And if it does not at least make you feel something, then you have no soul, sir. Littlefoot himself is really conflicted on a lot of things. He has a lot to take in for all this. Sarah is kind of a jerk. Just a little bit. Okay, not entirely. Okay, she's really a big jerk. I really don't like her. And I don't think you're supposed to like her either. You have Spike, who's just kind of there and doesn't really do much. You have Petrie, you know, the flyer, who is not really good at flying. You want to play that trope up. You have Ducky, who's the over-optimistic type who just wants to get home and be friends and positivity, power of positivity and all that. Yeah, that goes well. I like how all the characters interact. I like what they feel. I like that they're relatable. And this is way back in the day. It's good to see how the themes from this movie can be carried on to today. They still matter today, and that's both good and bad for different reasons. It's good because it's a reminder of how, though we are different, we can at least get through things, but it's also sad because this is still going on in 2016. So take that for what you will. Second thing, this movie is dark. A lot of Don Bluth's earlier movies are dark. You have moments where people actually go to hell and get killed. You have moments where it looks like characters are put in imminent danger where they really could die. And these are kids. You have to remember, these are little kids traversing the wasteland, if you will, just to get home. There's so much stuff that happens here. It's nuts. I like the fact that it's really dark. I like the fact that they're put into these extreme situations and they still manage to retain a bit of their innocence. It's not like there's one event that happens that just completely traumatizes a character. Well, kind of. But overall, though, it helps traumatize them, I guess, in a good way. It helps progress them forward. I've firmly believed that sometimes you need to be broken in order to progress forward. I think that's important because you're never really going to learn unless you mess up. The one thing I don't like about this... No, wait, actually, there's two things that I don't like about this. For one, as dark as this movie is, all of the sequels do not have that same level of darkness. May I remind you that after this, a lot of Don Bluth's movies got made into sequels, and series, and franchises, but the one that got, for lack of a better term, whored out the most was Land Before Time, because we're up to Land Before Time 13. That's a lot. That's quite an accomplishment, because when you look at the second movie, it is nowhere near as dark, because they're singing in happy fun times, which takes away from the original grimness of the first movie. Now, I can understand why, because they wanted to shift it towards a lighter audience so they could sell it better. Okay, that's all fine and well. But when you make it into a TV series and video games and take out the original grim part of it and why it was so dark to begin with, and not really translate that over to the other movies, well, except maybe in the 10th, it doesn't quite work well when you look back on this. When you look at the first movie and realize that it got turned into this mess, this huge, huge franchise that I'm glad is actually dead. It's amazing to look at, and not in a good way. The second thing I don't like about this is the voice acting. I know that's not really fair, these are child actors, but while it works for some, it doesn't quite work for others. While it works, I guess, for Littlefoot and for Sarah, not so much, I guess, for Ducky and Petrie. And that's not fair, because there was an event that happened with Ducky's voice actress. A lot of us know what happened, and it was very tragic. Still, the voice acting is very half and half on this movie, so voice acting-wise, it has not really stood up very well. And voice acting throughout Land Before Time has not really stood up well either. I mean, granted, they pulled in a few celebrity voices, like Kiefer Sutherland and Cuba Gooding Jr. That has not really been a good thing. So, voice acting wise, I'm gonna give this a little bit of a pass. I'll forgive it because this is back then. Child actors weren't exactly the best thing around. But in other Don Bluth movies, child voice actors are better there. So I will say that. What else can really be said about The Land Before Time is that it is objectively a great movie. There's a strong story behind it. There's a lot to look at it. Now that I'm a reviewer, I've watched it again recently, and I noticed a lot of different things. Like the animation, for example. I did not take into account of how amazing Don Bluth's animation is. It is some of the most beautiful and vibrant animation you will see from back in the day. And this is funny because this movie, while it is grim, there are colors at good points that help accentuate the positives. And that's how a lot of his movies have been. A lot of them, while they have been grim with washed out colors and grim looking settings, it's still good to see him actually put color into scenes where there are necessary, to remind people that while this is dark, there is still some light to it. And that's a central thing that you'll see in all of Don Bluth's movies. And that's obviously a good thing. So, those are my thoughts on The Land Before Time. It is a great movie. You should definitely go see it. If you want to show your kids, absolutely. If you want to show them the sequels, okay. But the main movie, it's a little hard to deal with in terms of the feels. But if you can handle it, then it's worth it. I'm just glad that while dinosaurs are coming back, you know, that's to be expected. I figured now's a good time to talk about it. I'm just really glad that there's not a 14th movie. They stopped making it ages ago. There's no point. What? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Yeah, okay. I'll deal with you some other time. As much as you've enjoyed this, like, comment, subscribe, Twitter, Patreon, all that good stuff. Put your thoughts on Land Before Times in the comments. Land Before Times, wow. No, just the first one. Just the first one in the comments below, and what you think of Don Bluth movies in general. What's your favorite from that? See you guys on the flip side. And if you like this new style too, where, as people have put it, putting actual effort into it, I hope you guys will enjoy that as well. This is just a test to see how this will work, and also check in the link below for my second channel. That's where I'm going to be putting up some of the other stuff that doesn't quite fit on my reviewing channel. Just fun stuff, you know? Some other stuff that I want to try. Anyway, that being said, I'm the Toon Critic, keeping you totally tuned for your entertainment. Stay awesome and have a nice day.